Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Welcome back. It's your guy Dan here, and today we're going to be reacting to another content creator named WrestlePlanet. He put out a video, 12 shocking WWE and AEW jumps that will happen. I'm going to have a link down in the sources for you guys, so that way you can go watch it yourselves, but I'm just going to be reacting to it tonight. So let's get it.
Whether it be Tony Khan firing his favorite wrestler CM Punk, initiating a once impossible WWE return, or WWE loyalist Bryan Danielson going from the main event of WrestleMania 37 to confronting the Elite in AEW within a matter of months, the past few years have proven that anything can happen in the world of professional wrestling.
It was not a shock.
Who could be next in line to make those very same jumps? In today's video, we'll be taking a look at 6 current AEW stars that could be next to sign for WWE, and 5 potential AEW signings from the WWE roster, as we ask the question, who will be the next major jumps in pro wrestling? Let's begin with an obvious one, that being Ricky Starks. Ricky is one of those wrestlers who you just feel like belongs in WWE, and his friendship with Cody Rhodes and presence at recent WWE shows makes this feel like an inevitability at this.
Yeah, he's been with Cody Rhodes backstage a lot. There he is right there. There's his brother Dustin too. We all have seen the discontent from Ricky about Tony Khan and AEW. Tony Khan saying that he's hurt, he'll be back, and then he's like, he's done interviews where he's like, I've been good to go for a while now. So, yeah, Baby Pebble Rock is gonna be in the WWE. That I agree with him.
Point. Many believe that Ricky should have seen more success in AEW and that he was just too good not to be in the
phenomenal wrestler, dude.
A path he was taking under the guidance of CM Punk on AEW Collision before the Second City Saints exit from the promotion. He is phenomenal on the mic and has proved that given the opportunity, he can go toe-to-toe with the very best in the sport. Ricky had an underrated feud with Punk in 2023 and one of the best matches of the year against Bryan Danielson at All Out. Things didn't go to plan from there though, as he ended up winning the AEW World Tag Team Championship with Big Bill in what felt like a demotion. While there's nothing wrong with winning that belt, Ricky should have realistically done something more significant. What's even more baffling is that Tony Khan hasn't used Ricky in recent AEW programming, despite him being cleared to compete, and even the man himself doesn't seem to know the reason. And if you're interested in...
Alright people, we had to take applause for the cause. To remind you that every YouTuber says, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys. Back to the video.
Is there a better candidate to win this year's Owen Hart Cup than Natty Neidhart in honor of her uncle, the King of Hearts? Natalya felt like a star who would remain in WWE for life, as she is the...
Yeah, her husband is a producer. I think he's also in NXT helping them out. I doubt she will. I mean, yeah, Beth has been talking about going to AEW here and there, but with Edge's dumbass white boy Annis jumping off a cage, I don't see that happening. But also, Natty's very talented.
The longest signed female wrestler in the company's history.
I do not like
then
when
again,
females
names
do
like
this.
Edge showing up in AEW proves that anything is possible in the strange world of pro wrestling. Natalya has always been an underrated performer in the eyes of many fans, and she doesn't get the respect she deserves when it comes to on-screen presentation. Even at the age of 42, she can have solid matches, as shown by her recent bout with Io Sky on Raw. She is one of those rare superstars who can fill in any spot, although the good hand curse appears appears to have struck again. Natalya can be used in both the mid-card and the main event, and she can elevate her opponents to new heights. Despite her obvious talent, WWE has only given Natalya the ball twice when it comes to world title gold over the course of her near 2-decade career with the company, and perhaps it's time to chase one last title run elsewhere. Dave Meltzer recently reported that Natalya has yet to sign a new contract with WWE, despite there being an offer on the table, with her current deal set to come to an end at some point in the very near future. Tony Khan would no doubt want a veteran like Natalya in his company, who could be a major help to the female stars in AEW both on and off screen, with this possible switch one to watch in the weeks ahead. Could another Rhodes be returning to WWE? Fightful has reported that Dustin Rhodes' contract will expire in the fall of this year, and considering
I can see them using him for like an angle with Cody, but other than that, WWE is not going to use Dustin. They would want him to convert back to Goldust for like a nostalgic act, and he's so much better than that. He is so much better than that. Also, for people who didn't know, he is actually the original American Nightmare. It was his gimmick first. He gave it to his little brother. We speak facts. Go look it up.
Tony Khan hasn't been shy about his desire to bring in more free agents, he would likely need to let people go at the same time. Dustin could be one of them, and taking into consideration that he's towards the end of his career, joining his brother Cody in WWE does make a whole lot of sense. It goes without saying, but AEW does deserve credit for giving Dustin's career a whole new life, where he was able to show fans a new side of him that he hadn't before.
That match they had together was fucking amazing.
Seen as a serious pro wrestler. Dustin Rhodes, on the other hand, was having awesome matches against his brother Cody, which set the tone for AEW from the jump, and bouts with the likes of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson proved that Dustin can still go. At this stage of his career, Dustin returning to WWE does seem inevitable, whether it be for one last rodeo, which might be unlikely, or even just to take his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. Cody has made it known that he wants to induct his brother into the Hall of Fame, and Dustin would no doubt be considering this option, as it's just too good to pass up. Dustin would also be a great addition to the company as a producer, or in any other backstage role, and all in all, Dustin returning to WWE is going to happen someday, and honestly, it would be even more surprising to see him stay with AEW come the fall. AJ Styles is one of the few wrestlers who's been successful in almost every promotion that they've been in. Styles is quite possibly the greatest TNA wrestler of all time, one of the best to do it in Ring of Honor. His run in New Japan was remarkable, and now he's done it all in WWE as well.
He's not wrong at all. AJ had a chance to come to the WWE when he was young. He just, I don't know what happened. I think there is a documentary about it, I believe. But yeah, he wasn't feeling it, and he went to TNA, and he became a star. He did. He actually helped keep that company running for a while. And then he went to New Japan and killed it, nailed it out of the park, and then showed up in WWE. My only thing is the only reason he would leave WWE is for creative. I think that would be his biggest thing, because he's got the money now. He's not worried about money. But also, I think he wants to continue to work with WWE. He wants to be closer to home. He could be a producer easily. He could be a trainer, no doubt. But I just don't think I would see him go to AEW unless it was for creative freedom, if that makes sense.
Well, it was hard to believe that Styles would ever get a major push when he first arrived in WWE in 2016, as Vince McMahon had this habit of not pushing the stars who were massively over with the hardcore fanbase. But AJ is considered one of the best wrestlers on our Wrestle Planet, and he has that ability to make management get behind him. 8 years later, and Styles has almost done everything that there is to achieve in WWE, and he's had many classic matches that he can proudly look back on. He would sign a new contract with WWE
frustrated with
during a time
creative
that
with
then
WWE.
startup
I can see that.
AEW were looking to sign the Phenomenal One, a deal that is reportedly set to expire at the end of 2024. Whilst he has also made it clear that he's pretty close to retiring, Styles could very well end his career in AEW if he wants to work a lighter schedule while stepping in the ring with some of the best around. Imagine a potential match with Kenny Omega or a bout with the current version of Will Ospreay, a man who is inspired.
AJ's a phenomenal wrestler, pun intended, and everything. I could see him and Ospreay having a couple good going matches, but him and Daniel Bryan have already done it. We're not sure if we're ever going to see Kenny Omega again in a wrestling capacity. Because then AJ has changed so much throughout the years. He used to be a high flyer, but now he's not. He's mediocre when he does all that. He still does it well. Mediocre is probably the wrong word, but his stick right now is good stories. So I doubt that we would ever see a great match with him and Kenny Omega, to be honest with you. AJ's way better at doing what he does, and Kenny, he's slowing down too. And AJ is about to retire, so if he goes, it'd be for creative freedom. I don't think he would. Yeah.
By AJ's early TNA work. I'm sure Tony Khan would be willing to front up several $1 million to make it happen, but it will likely come down to whether AJ still has another run left in the tank. Now let's move on to another former champion in AEW that could make the jump to WWE. In recent days, reports have revealed that the contract of Penta El Zero Miedo, the former Pentagon Jr., is coming to an end, with him potentially set to become a free agent between August and September, if a report from Lucha Libre Online is to be believed. That report also states that WWE are interested in his services, before adding that his free agency will be extremely interesting to watch in the weeks and months ahead. Penta is of course a former AEW World Tag Team Champion alongside his brother Ray Phoenix as the Lucha Brothers, with the duo being the 5th ever team to hold the titles in AEW history. Their reign would begin at the end of the brutal cage match with the Young Bucks at All Out 2021, with it ending when the Jurassic Express kicked off 2022 with a title win on the first episode of Dynamite that year. Penta is yet another name that many feel should have been given a bigger shove by Tony Khan during his tenure with AEW, with his time in TNA Wrestling, Lucha Libre AAA, and Lucha Underground, showing that he can be a top guy that holds world title gold when used correctly. The question now lingers as to if he'll be making the switch to an already Latino-heavy WWE, with memes already circulating as to if Triple H will book him to join Legado del Fantasma or the LWO.
And that's bad.
In recent weeks, both Fightful Select and Viper of PWN have reported that yet another contract is close to expiring, with Ricochet expected to become a free agent.
If you have never seen Ricochet versus Ospreay, go on YouTube and look it up. Those two, for some reason, Ricochet, I knew him from the Indies, and dude, I thought he was just crazy good, and I was like, Vince will never hire this guy. Vince is not a fan of the flippy shit. Ricochet's on a different level. When it comes to in-ring work, he's very good at what he does. And him and Ospreay have had some of the best matches I've ever seen. It's just crazy what they put together. I could see him going to AEW, but him being engaged to Samantha, he might just stay. But I could be wrong. Even though I think he just lost the Speed Championship too.
At some point this summer, the former United States champion was recently crowned the first WWE Speed champion, with Speed being a show exclusive to X, formerly Twitter, where you can see fast-paced matches under a 5-minute time limit. While I do like the concept of WWE Speed and think it's the perfect format to reach a new audience on social media, especially considering the shift towards short-form content as attention spans dwindle, I do feel that Ricochet is an easy candidate to being a top guy on Raw and SmackDown if given the opportunity. Maybe we'll see an increase in popularity for Ricochet through the new WWE show, but you can't help but feel that he could be doing more. Ricochet's real-life friend and longtime New Japan rival, Will Ospreay, now of AEW, was recently vocal about his feelings on WWE's booking of the One and Only, which could be a sign that Ricochet shares the same feelings. Could now be the time for Ricochet and Ospreay to reignite their infamous feud in All Elite Wrestling in the months ahead in an attempt to top the much-hyped bout from the Best of the Super Juniors. Whilst the match was divisive, due to it looking more like a video game than a real fight, it's hard to argue that what the two men pulled off that night was nothing short of fantastic in terms of a physical feat. And now that both competitors have grown as performers when it comes to psychology and selling, we could be in for a treat if the rematch went down. And this could be the perfect stepping stone for a main event push if Ricochet becomes All Elite. Hook has captivated the wrestling audience over the past couple of years with his laid-back yet intense persona and his unique ring style, making him stand out of the AEW roster. Even though he's 25 years old, Hook is able to put on strong performances if he's in the ring with the right performer. Even though his matches often aren't very long, Hook carries himself perfectly and showed that he can perform at the highest level during his recent match with Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship. With that said, a recent report would emerge from Scoops, who claim that when his AEW contract expires this year, Hook is looking to explore free agency. On top of this, they claim that a WWE source familiar with the company's current recruitment strategy told them that they see WWE sending an offer when the opportunity arises. Of course, this is no guarantee that the move will happen, as Tony Khan will almost certainly issue a counter-offer Hook's way, likely preventing him from becoming a free agent at all. But the report is a sign that the youngster is not only a smart businessman looking to initiate a bidding war for his signature, but that he is open to a jump to WWE and potentially NXT, where he would get the chance to train in the Performance Center to further perfect his craft. And maybe they can finally send Hook to CM Punk. Kevin Owens appearing on AEW Dynamite could be a possibility in early 2025. Just like AJ Styles, Owens has accomplished more than one can dream of in WWE. Owens has then gone on to win the Universal Championship, and we'll just forget how he lost the title.
Here's where if Sami Zayn's somewhere, Owens is behind him. Steen, whatever. I know him as Kevin Steen on the Indies and Ring of Honor and everything. But I think if you ask him that same question, and I don't think he has done everything he was wanted to and more. He gets very frustrated at times, especially when not given a chance. I know there was a thing where he went and talked to Vince after a match, and then Vince was like, "That's not what I wanted," and it ate him up. I mean, I like Owens as a heel, personally. I think that's when he does his best work, because that's where he's more comfortable. I know they say it's so much easier to be a heel than a face. But him going to AEW, the only way I can see is if creative freedom. Period. If not, he's making good money. And he's usually involved in all the top stories, especially like with Bloodline. He just keeps finding his niche in there. Plus, if he went to AEW, it'd be him and Jericho again, and I can't handle more of Jericho right now.
To Goldberg in a matter of seconds, but he would continue to have great programs with the likes of Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn while winning the United States
he won the
and
US belt,
Intercontinental Championships. Many believed that Owens would sign with AEW in 2022 when his WWE contract was close to expiring, but he would choose to stay. That paid off big time as he went on to main event WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he would main event again in 2023 when he and Sami Zayn defeated the Usos to become the tag team champions. In an interview with the Metro, Owens revealed that at the time he had 9 months left on his current WWE contract. Whilst Owens made it clear that he can't imagine leaving WWE considering the strong relationships that he has with people backstage, things can change. Owens has a lot of good friends in AEW, namely the Young Bucks being 2 of them, and Tony Khan would be willing to make a similar offer to WWE, if not better, to persuade him to join. Plus, AEW could serve as a new challenge for Owens, and he'll have the opportunity to face a whole bunch of new names, so keep an eye out for Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen becoming All Elite in 2025.
Maybe.
The next entry wouldn't have made much sense in early 2022, but it makes a whole lot of sense today.
Honestly,
how can Tony Khan seriously fumble somebody as talented and as over as Wardlow at that time? Aligning Wardlow with MJF upon debuting was the right call, considering MJF had white hot heat as a heel heel. While he was MJF's bodyguard, Wardlow's presence was enough to show that he had charisma, and fans were stunned to see how athletic he was when he began performing for the first time. AEW's booking of Wardlow was compelling during the first 3 years of the company, as fans anticipated the inevitable babyface turn on his boss, this leading to the infamous moment during the MJF CM Punk dog collar match where he handed the Dynamite Diamond ring to the straight edge superstar, aiding him in his victory over Max. He even squashed MJF at Double or Nothing that same year,
but that
with
was by
AEW holding
design.
lightning in a bottle when it came to the Super Over War Dog. Since then, however, AEW have failed to capitalize on this potential megastar, leaving Wardlow publicly frustrated with the way he's been handled, something that could tempt him to move on to the guidance of another booker, namely Triple H. While Wardlow told PW
Would they treat
Insider
him
in
like a Batista?
2022 that he plans on staying with
A
AEW
monster?
for years to come, things are a lot different for him in 2024, around 2 years later. Switching to WWE when his contract comes up might be an option, considering that there's no doubt that the big man's size and explosiveness would fit right in with the likes of Bron Breakker and Trick Williams, who are two rising big men on the WWE side of the fence. The Celtic warrior Sheamus loves to put on banger after banger after banger, and we could very well be seeing those bangers on Dynamite or Collision in the near future. Sheamus is one of the most successful WWE superstars of the past decade. He won his first WWE Championship in 2019.
I just think WWE's been so good to him. I don't think he would make the jump, to be honest with you. Best friend and his best man is Drew McIntyre. Yeah, they're a little scuffle on TV every once in a while, but that's it. But they used to be roommates, and Sheamus has his own little show where he brings people on, and believe it or not, it is produced with WWE backing. So that whole thing, yeah. But Sheamus has had some great times in WWE. Maybe it is time for him to go over. Maybe. Honestly, I just don't see him actually doing it because he's been utilized so well over there.
By defeating John Cena, and would go on to win the World Championship
Squash Daniel
more
Bryan in
times
like
the
3
next few
seconds.
years. Sheamus has accomplished just about everything there is to achieve in WWE. He's won the United States title 3 times, he's won the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank, and he even became King of the Ring in 2010. And he's a multi-time tag team champion with Cesaro as the bar. Sheamus is an accomplished wrestler.
That's true.
The only title
Cesaro's
he hasn't
in
won is the
AEW.
Intercontinental Championship, and the way things are going right now, it doesn't seem like he's going to win that anytime soon. Sheamus was red hot after he had that classic match against Gunther for the IC title at Clash at the Castle in 2022, and while Gunther was the priority, it felt like WWE didn't do enough to keep up with his momentum. And on top of that, this is a different administration. Triple H is all about building new stars, and while Sheamus could contribute to that vision while being part of storylines, he might have different plans for himself. Sheamus's contract is set to expire later this year, and maybe he could decide to take on a new challenge. When you think of Sheamus and AEW, will you instantly think of the Blackpool Combat Club? Sheamus would fit like a glove in that stable, reuniting with his former tag team partner Claudio Castagnoli. Plus, think of the singles matches against Kenny Omega, banger, a match against Powerhouse Hobbs, banger, and the list goes on. And by the end of this year, do you think Sheamus could be All Elite in time for AEW All in London?
He could.
Tony Khan has made a habit of signing new shiny wrestlers and barely using them at all, which is understandable when you see the sheer size of the AEW roster, with many finding themselves lost in the shuffle. Danhausen, unfortunately, lies in that category despite his popularity. Danhausen was never meant to be taken seriously as a competitive performer under his current persona. However, his comedic and horror-themed gimmick got him over on the independent scene. Despite not appearing on AEW programming that much, Danhausen is one of the top merchandise sellers in the entire company, so imagine the money he could draw with the machine behind him. Danhausen first appeared in AEW in 2022 when he interrupted an unsanctioned Lights Out match between Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole on the Beach Break edition of Dynamite. After that, he aligned himself with Hook for a short period of time before getting involved with Orange Cassidy. He would then later suffer a torn pectoral Memorial in December 2023, and he last appeared in a Battle Royal at the World's End pay-per-view. Despite being cleared once again and being active on the indies since, Danhausen has not been utilized in any capacity on AEW television. It's strange to see, and many were quick to suggest that being friends with CM Punk is the reason why Danhausen isn't being used. This after Punk suggested that his friends are being punished in AEW for their association with him. Whilst it's not a move many will see coming,
that's where he would go.
Danhausen has a future on the NXT brand in WWE where he could make some tweaks to his gimmick, reverting back to the darker Danhausen of old, which could be the change he needs to be given a serious push on the main roster. This is something that many thought they would never say, but Becky Lynch could very well be heading to AEW.
This is not happening. This is not fucking happening. I don't give a damn. This is not happening. The major reason is setting to her, well, it would be her right, Seth Rollins. He has re-signed with WWE. He is injured. They own a bus. They travel with their daughter and a nanny. He's hurt. She's taking a little bit of a hiatus. She's supposed to be writing a new book, and then she's supposed to go. She's doing a new book, that's for sure. It's going to be about living on the road in the bus with her family. But then also they said that she wants to have another kid. So I don't see her jumping to AEW. Right now, Seth's at home. He's hurt. He's had surgery. She's going to go home. She's going to help take care of the baby. Be with him. She'll be pregnant by the end of the summer. And Seth is a lifer. He will not go to AEW. He will not go to New Japan. Nothing. He's staying, she's staying, period. I disagree 100%.
Home from home, and yes, her husband Seth Rollins has re-signed with WWE, but that hasn't always stopped somebody from making the same jump. As remember when Bryan Danielson left WWE, leaving his wife Brie Bella behind before signing for AEW. The same happened when Jon Moxley left his wife Renee Young behind before becoming All Elite. Let's get one thing straight first. Becky is quite possibly one of the best female stars in the history of WWE. She's won the women's title 7 times, she's won a Royal Rumble match, she's one of the first 3 women to main event a WrestleMania, she got over on her own in 2018, and ever since then, she's been looked at as one of the greatest.
Let's be honest, Nia Jax helped get her over as the man. When Nia punched her in the face and broke, I don't know if it broke her nose, but it bloodied her nose, that made Becky. It started to help herself with the crowd, but that moment right there, that's when the crowd turned and said, oh shit, she's a badass.
Female stars on the entire planet. With that said, her WWE contract is officially over, and Lynch is now a free agent and is likely receiving offers to work elsewhere as we speak. Tony Khan is able to offer her.
I'm gonna tell you right now, she is using that just like Randy Orton did against Tony Khan. Tony Khan just signed Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. Huge mistake. But he's paying her. She's the highest paid women's wrestler in the world. Becky would make more than her. She might be doing that. And honestly, I don't think Becky cares about the money, but at the same time, nah.
Her 2 things that Becky would likely be looking for in her next contract: big money and a lighter schedule. It's been no secret that Becky wants to spend more time with her daughter, and AEW is the only high-paying company that would allow her to do this. Crazier stuff has happened in the world of pro wrestling, and when you zoom out, Becky joining AEW doesn't seem crazy at all. As of this moment, Becky is a free agent, and don't be surprised to see the man at All in London this year, where she will receive a
minute. I'll talk about that in a second.
The highlight of the night. Becky will return to wrestling as the highest paid women's wrestler of all time, but the question is, who will be signing the checks?
So I just had an epiphany. So this weekend, Jordynne Grace is she's going to be wrestling for the NXT Women's title. She has an open challenge. What if Becky or Natalya are the open challenge? Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? And that's another thing that a lot of people are not taking into effect right now. Yeah, they're like, oh, it's just a one-off with Jordan Grace. I don't think it is. I think the TNA, WWE, it's not going to have them buy them out. It's just going to be working together, almost like New Japan and AEW does. I think you'll see NXT stars on TNA and TNA stars on NXT. TNA will be a feeder system for NXT because I have a feeling that NXT is about to do their own thing as well. He's going to try to make that a third, 100% third standalone brand. So it'll go, you go to TNA and NXT work together, and then from there you go to the main rosters. And let's just be honest, Jordan Grace right now, I have a feeling she's going to win that title. And we're going to see a lot more TNA people showing up on WWE programming. I think we're going to have a lot of WWE people showing up on the TNA programming. I think that they're just working out the thing after this weekend. They're going to see how the numbers go. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a lot. I don't like NXT per se a lot, but I plan on watching that match on purpose. That is big. So anyone on this list, I can also see them if they need a creative change. Plus, AJ Styles, he made TNA. Who's to say that he won't go back and forth just for... Dude, that changes the whole meaning of this video. The TNA thing. So we don't know what it means. Nobody knows what it means. They're so tight-lipped about it right now. Nobody knows if it's just a one-off or if they were actually working on a deal. We don't know. And that's fucking awesome. Something needs to happen. Anyway, I'm going to put the video link in the bio. Guys, check him out. He does documentaries, what if. He does all types of stuff. I enjoy watching him. And I saw this, and this one just posted not too long ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it as when I do a reaction to it. So give me a shout out, Wrestle Planet. Also, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to me talk and ramble. Sign off the comments. Who you think, who's going where? What we're going to have? We're going to have TNA everywhere, or we're going to have AEW and WWE stars jumping ship? Let me know. As always, we good people. Fuck it.